The Pat Mayo Experience.
Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, the Charles Schwab Challenge, formerly the Colonial, formerly the Fort Worth Invitational. Picks, one and done. We got it all for you. Plus, we're recapping the PGA Championship. If you want to get into a draw for $20 DK, here's what I want you to do. I want you to smash the like button, leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section, and tell me your favorite player from 30 to 1 and below. So all the way up to the top. So your Justin Roses, Ricky Fowlers, all the way down to your Bryson DeChambeaus. If you had to pick one of those guys, which one would you pick to win at Colonial this week? Also, if you want to get in on another draw, 20 DK bucks are available if you rate, review, and subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience podcast. Leave a 5-star review, DraftKings handle, something nice about the show. We love reading things that are nice about the show. Geoff Fienberg is here. You going to play in the Pat Mayo Experience Open this week?
I always do. Was this also formerly Dean and DeLuca?
Yes, it was.
That was good. The exotic, high-end groceries.
Is that what that is? I still have no idea what it is.
Yeah, it was like a fancy grocery chain. That we don't have it here.
It's like Whole Foods?
Maybe. I don't really know because I've never been, but I remember...
looking into it?
No, the gag, Gabe and Cam did a gag thing going on and it's like you order fancy cheese baskets and
sounds delicious.
It's really fancy stuff apparently.
Sounds delicious, by the way.
But yeah, and then there was it 1 or 2 year run.
I think it was. I mean, Cust always talks about SEO value. Nothing had worse SEO value than Dean and DeLuca Invitational. No one's really searching that. Colonial was pretty good. Maybe Charles Schwab will work out. But like you mentioned, when you opened up the odds board, you thought it was a seniors event.
No, I was like, where are the odds? There are no odds. And then I just clicked it and I saw the field. And at first I thought this was just one of those what used to happen years ago, these early week shootouts, not even on TV, but there's an odd for them for charity or something. And then it actually hit me. This is the real event.
Yeah, this is it.
And this is the field, which kind of took me back at how big it was, but
I think the field benefited from the scheduling change not happening until later in the year.
I think
because I think next year's tournament, you're going to see a significant drop-off in the quality of this field. Because this field is stacked. It's shocking how stacked it is.
Well, a couple things. I think this field benefits from the new rule of guys having to...
well, that was the only reason Justin Rose played this event last year. Then he won it.
And then last year, it was whatever field was the week after... The U.S. Open was also really stacked, but that's because I guess it was regionally close by.
Yeah, this one was not. People played Trinity Forest, hopped on a plane to go play in New York, then hopped on a plane to come back to Dallas to play this event.
Well, let's be honest. One guy played,
next year it's going to be San Francisco. So you go Dallas, San Francisco, Dallas. I just don't see people doing that.
Yeah, no, Charles Schwab Invitational, that's usually a Champions Tour thing. But they have a major this week, actually.
The Sonora's Tour?
So is that what it's called?
That's what I call it.
Oh, sorry.
Didn't they have a major 2 weeks ago when Steve Stricker won?
Oh, they have a lot of majors.
They have 8 majors?
Sorry, maybe it's not. I don't know. I saw it's the senior PGA.
Okay.
That's what I think that I saw. Or they've already just posted odds for it. Anyway,
I do want to let people know if they want to there's 4,000 spots available in the Pat Mayo Experience DraftKings Open this week. Hit the description or comment section of this video or podcast and get yourself in to the Pat Mayo Experience Open. It is $15 to play, 3 max entry, and it is the best tournament on DraftKings. There is no rake and flat payout structure. Yeah. Paul cashed all 3 of his entries. Pat Mayo did not.
I had
a bad DraftKings week, man. I had a good weekend. I had a good weekend in Showdown. The actual picks, not so hot. So thank God, Fantasy National, so I could go in and pick my weekend guys after getting the 2 rounds of data. Then you end up with Gary Woodland on your team, and all of a sudden he has a much better weekend versus the field than a lot of people had.
And a lot of the guys that went out earlier yesterday, I mean, it still played hard, but they moved up the leaderboard when it was all said and done. Woodland and Rory, they weaseled out top 10s.
Yeah. Rory, backdoor top 10. I think that was the only thing I got right all week, that I said Rory would struggle, yet somehow he'd end up with the top 10 by Sunday. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. He didn't play particularly well at all. Let's talk about the PGA, though. Actually, I want to give a special shout out to John Lind. And we usually run through all the winners. There was being the millionaire maker, a lot of people, I mean, I don't want to discredit like everyone winning like $500 and $1,000, that sort of thing, but there was like a legit list of like 30 people that did it. So shout out to NYC Punter, who was on this Brooks thing. He won a bunch of cash this week. Shout out to you. But John Lind was the big winner. Came 6th in the millionaire maker. $78 entered. Returned almost 20K, just over 19.2K. That's a week right there.
There it is.
He won the PME Open too.
Oh, awesome.
And he did it like with a single
With the
bullet.
same, yep, I believe that. Shout out to Punter, huge score. Lind, that's what it's about.
Yeah, those are the weeks that
You
you play 4 years to have that week,
Yeah.
and then you're good for the next 10.
Yeah, and you hate, the payoff structure is frustrating, but when you hit a gem like that, you're able to.
Yeah, you don't complain about too much when you come inside the top 10.
Yeah.
It's when you come like 13th, you're like, I won $200. This sucks.
And that lineup would have won you like an average of like 10K everywhere else.
Yeah, basically. But the new millionaire maker's out too. It's $100.
There it
to
is. So I approve.
I see. I like it too because they also released a $10 tournament, which isn't for $1 million. It's for like $250K
Whatever.
top
That
prize.
sounds great also.
But it just, you shrink the field. It gives people, you need less of an outlier lineup to actually win. It's still 33,000 people in it, but that's significantly less than the 175,000.
Did Luke List help someone win $1 million?
Of course.
There it is.
Luke List helped us get our money back for the week. What a for Luke List.
He had those first 3 rounds under 70, which were great. And he had a horrible start. He battled back.
Then
he made a triple. He battled back. And I know he cost our American friends who didn't get
the top 8. They
Yeah,
got the top 5.
I feel like our English friends were scot-free because they're like top 10. But after that drive, which you couldn't see, and even
they didn't even show us birdie putt on 17.
Listen,
And there was legit nothing else going on the course.
as we've talked about many times during the years of doing these shows, my dad is the opposite of everyone we are here. In that he doesn't have a lineup, he doesn't have a bet. When something's rain delayed and they're showing, and it ended at like noon, and they're showing it on CBS and as if it's live at like 4 or 5 o'clock, he's watching it. He doesn't care. He doesn't know the final scores. He doesn't have the app. He doesn't give a shit. But it was the first time he like sort of felt my pain when I was showing him, and showing him like the app's probably the same as like showing Tim like a shot tracker for the first time. That like there's 4 guys on the course, and my guy who I need here
just not bogey.
Just hit a 200-yard par 3 to 6 feet, and we didn't see the shot, and we didn't see him make the putt. And they didn't see him. And the only time I know that he's hit the putt, because it's like 6 feet for birdie, is they show from the far angle Brooks is at the tee, and I'm like, oh, the green's cleared.
So the only reason that I was hoping, because I was following along on Shot Tracker too, I knew he had this like 7-foot putt for birdie. It's like, he makes this.
We're clear.
We're clear.
Yeah,
we're clear. We win the bet. We get our money back.
He
This
hit
is great.
He hit it as someone that was a heavy DK Houtonger. The bogey double finish. Ugh. But I saw he doubled 18, essentially from Shot Tracker, because I don't see anything. From the exact, when List hit his tee shot, showed where it was in that bunker, that was the exact same spot Hautong made double from.
Oh, God.
So I'm already panicking. Because I'd been there today.
The only reason that I knew he hit it, or at least had hope that he hit it, because they were showing Brooks, and they weren't even like showing Varner putt. They just had a close up of Brooks, and Varner was like tapping in on 16. And there was a huge roar that I heard. I was like, there's only like 4 guys left on the course. What could that be? I assume Luke List made birdie.
Listen, we're List fan clubs, and we'll get into other things, but that's embarrassing. They can't show like a young American on the course, like with 4 people left.
I almost tweeted it on the weekend. It's like, watching Luke List do well, I just wanted him to not melt down on Sunday. I mean, I wanted to win the bet, have him come inside the top 8, but I felt like a proud dad. I was like, well, Luke List is a multi-millionaire and he's a year younger than me. I don't know how proud I should feel about Luke List, but it was great.
I still believe, and maybe someone could tell me I'm wrong, and maybe there's younger players like
he's
could
like
argue.
33.
No, but I mean, you could argue you could throw the kid in who played from Oklahoma, the Wolfman, and
the Wolfman.
I'm just saying,
my son named after the Wolfman, Matthew Wolf, but with 1 F, not 2.
I just mean, to me, I think Luke List is the best player in the world who's never won like anything. PGA, European, swing season, like nothing. Maybe one on the old.
He won on the web.
What was it called before?
Totally
it was
forget.
something. Jim Furyk used to be this
Jobs.com tour.
Jeez, it's amazing how quickly you forget. Like they just put it in.
It's been the web for like 5-6 years now, hasn't it? I totally spaced on what it is too. I can't remember.
Oh man, but it was so ingrained when it was, and then it isn't, and it's gone. I guess it really works. So I'm sure he won on those tours. But to me, he's the best player in the world without like anything.
And the thing is, he didn't like strike the ball particularly well this week. He was second in the field in putting. That's never gonna. All the bad rounds that Luke List had putting wise and missing all those 3-footers, he had it all break his way this week. So I don't look forward to seeing him the next time on the course when he's back to missing 2-foot putts.
Maybe found some confidence builder though.
Hopefully, I hope this works for Ben Ann at some point too, where he lost like him, Bubba, and Sergio. And Sergio and Bubba missed on the number, but they were 3 of the 4 like most strokes lost in the field in terms of putting. Like they lost like 8 strokes putting. That's almost impossible.
Bubba missed like a 3-footer
to make the cut
on the number
to make the cut. Yeah.
So that had to really hurt.
Like just make one of them.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just into the List thing. Brooks, I think it was the most dominating thing seen since Tiger won majors. To sleep on that lead as much as he's done it.
I would say that the most dominant major performance since like the Tiger ones was Rory at Congressional when he just waxed the field.
Does like Louis count?
No, but it was Louis and Casey. Louis and Casey went down the stretch there.
Did they?
Yeah. I just remember Paul Casey trying to line up this shot from like the rough in like one of those,
I don't want to
bunkers. But Rory won by 8 strokes at a U.S. Open at Congressional, and it was very reminiscent of this. Like if Brooks had stayed at like 13 under, maybe, but it didn't matter anymore.
Didn't matter. It did. Listen, I am disappointed as a fan of Dustin and somebody.
Dustin has the runner-up slam now.
As somebody that on like Wednesday of last week would have been like Brooks is amazing, but like he's is he really better than Dustin? I mean, granted, that's done. I'll say many times, Dustin should have been Brooks 8 years ago, but he blew every major. Yeah. He was in the positions that Brooks was in. So I was personally disappointed proud to see Dustin make that charge, but literally once he got there and the crowd is chanting like DJ and choker, like to... Crazy.
If you're the crowd though, and you're chanting that at Brooks, I feel like that only fuels him.
Maybe, but that you never seen that before.
He should turn in his American citizenship, go become like a German national, and join the European Ryder Cup team for when it comes back, just to stick it to them. I would love to see it.
And he's so cool because even after he's like, yeah, that was happening. Like I don't know, he was so composed, I was kind of choking it away. I deserved it. He kind of joked. I don't know, any golf, it's not really the place for that. But and then DJ bogeys right when he's right there. And Brooks never would have missed that par putt on 17.
The 2-footer that was on the
No, the one before where he played the great up and down to 8 feet, and it just went right. And I'll say this: have your shot. Is he a real caddy away from being really good?
Dustin?
Yeah.
You think having his brother on the bag is not the move?
He just looks back at all. I think because he just puts so much faith, I think, in what he's being told. And how many times does he look back at Austin? What on earth are you giving me?
I don't know about that. Realistically,
maybe I'm an apologist for the guy.
Maybe the only thing, it's not like Dustin had a bad week by any. He was putting the lights out.
I'm not even talking about reading greens. I'm talking about the numbers with certain irons. He overshoots these suckers.
Well, the wind picked up pretty massively on the back for a lot of these guys.
Again,
and then all of a sudden, you don't know. We saw it happen to Brooks. The guy who's hitting it down the middle off the tee on every single drive. All of a sudden, the wind starts bringing it into the bunker. Your distances get all screwed up. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Yeah, the bridesmaid grand slam.
Yeah, him and Louie.
That was actually great though. He showed some real good personality when he was informed of that.
I worried about the 3 guys going off late coming into the round. Varner paired up with Brooks, and I was thinking Brooks was up by so much that I was there's really no pressure on these guys. like to go compete for a win, just kind of tread water and do fine. There was him, there was the Jazz man, and there was List. Those were the three guys in contention at a major for the first time. List played fine.
Because I wouldn't officially call it contention because of how it felt like. Varner felt like he could be screwed because the only thing I had to go on was his Thursday at Wells Fargo in the PGA Live featured group because of his local ties. And I love the guy. The guy rocks Concord Jordans and final, like, the man.
It reminded me of this happened. This happened like 2 times just without doing research off the top of my head that stuck out from the PGA Championship. Remember when we were young, and we would only remember this because
driving in our cars.
The only reason we remember it because we're Canadian. But Mike Weir was in the final group with Tiger at the PGA Championship. I want to say in like 2001 or 2002. It was the first time that he had like really contended at a major. And I think he shot like 82 in the final round with Tiger. And then it happened to Bernd Wiesberger like 2 years ago. I think that was the one that Rory won. I think so. But he was in the final group and just completely imploded on Sunday. And Varner, it wasn't shocking to see him shoot 80. I felt bad for him.
I thought Jazz and List were in just as fine a spot, other than it seemed like they were in the worst weather spot of the day. List round, I think, when you hold it up to the field, in the end was what it was. Varner was over 80, so that for their standards is pretty bad. And Jazz caught a train.
He caught a train.
He caught the train.
You know what the sneaky underrated train was? Because I just kept watching. Because I was in some of the money for my DraftKings lineups, and I actually had it because we made it live on the Cut Sweat show. I bet Xander to come top 3.
Oh, trained.
And he was there. I was like, he's 2 shots off of being. He's 1 shot. At one point, he was -2, and top 3 was -3. I was like, here we go. Yeah. Xander, just make a birdie and get home clean. Bogey, 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 bogey. 5 bogeys to end his round, and he ended up like +3. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
So there's, I don't know what else there is to say really about Brooks. I'm as someone that didn't have money on it, but it feels disappointing in that for a moment, a brief period, even with the return of Tiger, it felt like we could be here where, yes, there was a definitive gap maybe in who was better and who wasn't. There was still like such a cluster that this is going to be so much fun for a long time. And maybe it probably still will be.
It will be.
But this moment, dude, the PGA and the US Open, they're not beholden to this Augusta track, which is, God, I would kiss it when I go ever. But it's not difficult, or it can't. Listen, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And these are the man. Like they don't. This is those courses where he's winning these suckers. To get to these numbers that no one touches by Thursday at 2.5 hours into his round, he's at a score that 2 people touch all week.
Yeah, his round 1 was good enough to win.
Like Tommy hit 6. Did anyone else hit 6? A few guys hit 6. Scott got to 6 late on Saturday, and Jordan might have gotten to 6. We saw List hit the eagle, I think, which got him.
He got to 6 on Saturday. And then he gave
yeah, you're right. So a few people got to 6, but Brooks is at 6 on Thursday.
And so was Danny Lee.
Danny, sorry. Right? It's just I'm at a loss for words. The domination is exciting, but
what I'll get into with Brooks is he's won 4 of the past 8 majors, I believe it is. 4 of the past 7, something crazy like that. It's similar to the run that Rory went on.
Yeah, sure.
And then everyone was like, well, how doesn't Rory break Jack's record of majors? And then it stops. Yeah. Like, I think we talked about this with Spieth, too, a few years ago, where he had just been reeling off all these wins. Like, it just stops at some point. So you need to cash in on... And Dustin has remained basically the best player in the world for the past 5 to 6 years. He has 1 major.
Despite it, yeah.
Sometimes it just flips against you, and you start getting the bad luck. So, like, if I had to tell you 8.5 majors for Brooks, you'd probably still take the under, wouldn't you? I would.
I probably would. I'm in no rush to go bet him to win the U.S. Open.
He has a top 10 in his only start at the AT&T Pro-Am.
I mean, it's funny. He's won these 2 majors on POA greens, but he almost, and because he can call his schedule. We don't see him till Florida because he gives the middle finger to the California, like even the premier event that is Pebble, that is Torrey, for not being a major WGC. They're kind of too higher end.
Yeah, the only one he shows up for on the West Coast is Phoenix.
Yeah. And that's like
And
not
he didn't
even
do that this
anymore.
year.
He's above it.
Well, he went and played the Middle East swing for
That's
like
still great. So
it's
like,
like-
everyone can have their major moments. To me, it's that par putt he hit last year in the U.S. Open.
on that par 3 when he got it up
Yeah.
and down. And that was the
Because that's when
difference.
because you were feeling those Tommy vibes. But that eagle chip at Phoenix for that first win.
No, putt from the fringe on 16.
Yeah, where I'm still like
we were so fired.
I'm like bear diving like on my buddy's basement carpet because like 2 hours before Super Bowl and people are like, what is wrong with this
Who
person?
is Brock's Kupka?
Yeah, but like, what's wrong with me? We've been a long way from that. And I even tweeted this weekend because it was Lily's 3rd birthday that I don't know if you remember, but the week she was born, I had that hashtag Brooks for Lily campaign at the Byron Nelson and he melted down versus Sergio.
Yeah, that's right. He put it into the water on 18.
No, he crushed it. That was the first playoff hole in the water.
That's right.
Like first shot playoff in the water or something. But he gagged like a multiple stroke lead on the back. So we've all come a long way.
Well, fortunately, because of Phoenix, we're still up on Brooks' lifetime. We should have known because when Cust was on this show and was making his 3 picks, and he said he really wanted to pick Brooks, but he didn't pick Brooks, that should have been our indication.
Yeah. Well, I didn't understand how he didn't understand.
We gave him the avenue. You can pick Brooks.
Yeah, we're
If-
saying-
if you think
yeah.
he's going to win, make him your pick. And he's like, no, that's not
No,
fair.
he said, I already used them. We're like, what do you mean you already used them? Well, I used them in the one and done. We're not asking you who your one and done is.
asking you pick
We're
the
just
winner.
saying, like, pick the winner.
Fortunately, both Cust and I's one and done really hit it bad on Sunday. Both Fowler and Fleetwood just fell off the face of the earth. Finau, too. Finau was like 9 over.
I burned DJ, so got a second place in a major.
It's
Unless
like,
he's going to win, like, unless,
I used him at the Masters. He came second. That's fine.
yeah, it's like, unless he's going to win, like, almost that's like for him to win a regular, like if he wins the Canadian Open, that's like what, 400,000, 300,000 more than the second place at a major?
It might be less. Like, what was second place at the PGA? 1 point what?
That's okay. That's all. I didn't even look,
It's
but
over-
I
it's
assumed
over
it was
$1 million
like
bucks.
9 or 1, and I
No, it's
assumed
over $1
winning
million.
like the Canadian Open gets you 1-2, 1-1.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anything-
Tim with the win on the blimp though, right?
Well, the blimp, it got cursed. He had to land. It was too windy. Fortunately, no one was harmed in the landing of the blimp. He was right about the tracer technology that they were using for it. I mean, they could have just used it in different ways. They used it much better on Sunday, but that Saturday like video game graphic they were using to just show, they had like a little box of the player hitting the ball, then the graphic that came above. Like there was no need for that. That was a bit much. And he still couldn't figure out the putting graphics. He's like, the putting graphics are way off. It never goes in. It's like, yeah, but that's for like ideal touch. Like, you still need to have the weight right. He's like, people hit it on this line, hit it 20 feet past the hole. It's like, yeah, clearly their speed was wrong, Tim.
2 things
'Kay.
before we move on. One is it appears people have really like agreed with my stance on Justin Rose, or that's me living my truth.
It's you living your truth. And people don't like Justin Rose. They never have.
Just those try hard outfits killing me.
I love those shirts.
The shirts are nice.
I want the pineapple shirt.
I actually want the Rose one that he wore on Sunday.
So now you're coming around.
No, I don't think the shirts are ugly. I just think like 38 guy turning 39 is all of a sudden trying to be like cool casual guy when he's been like boring AF guy his whole career. Just doesn't work for me. It just breathes phoniness.
I don't
and
know.
I can appreciate.
The guy made like $30 million last year. He's like retired now. He's
I-
like, let's kick back. This is
Listen,
gonna be great.
I can appreciate the guy like cashing in on being number 1 in the world, on all that can bring you, on taking advantage of sponsorships. But I don't know, be more like Phil. Find like an arthritis you can chill. Like the turn on Phil.
It's been amazing.
It's amazing.
It's like he hired a really good social
the
media
best.
director.
It's like he
hired
yeah.
the Wendy's person. Like, come
Yeah.
work for me.
Or or he hired the guy that works for the Chargers, who do some killer stuff. They're actually
Yeah, they're very well known. The Chargers social media
no,
team.
they were like ranked the number 1 like NFL social media team
by themselves.
No, by some like
By
actual
you?
business publication.
I don't know. I don't see much from the Chargers account. I'm not going to lie to you.
What? Well, you probably don't follow or
I don't follow any of this stuff. So the mark of the good social media team is when the stuff starts popping up in my feed because I don't follow them.
whatever. All I'm saying is I agree with you. It's probably some like young guy. It's like the guy that was running like Norm Kelly's Twitter. It's like, who's the hip 22-year-old like banging the keys for you? So that's good. And one more thing. Cantley, is he becoming last year's Finau? Because last night the rush was to go bet. I mean, I get it. The course
it reminds me of this year's Finau, Ricky from 2 years ago,
or more than two. But yes, it just feels
like that year that Ricky had the 4.
Yeah, the night the major ends, it's like we got to bet him to win the next major. And granted, this one I think is a little local, and he's done well there, and all his results have been there. But
he's doing well everywhere right now.
And I will make the case, I think his ceiling based on his amateur status might be like higher than Finau's, although Finau at peak is freaking amazing. But don't let me not pull this narrative, because people are like, no, that's not a fair narrative. I'm like, what do you mean it's not fair? One guy's won the Puerto Rican, one guy's won the Shriners, and they're like the major darlings. No one's going to be shocked when both of them win big regular and big tournaments.
Well, I think his number dropped to 40-1 to win.
I think it's 33 now.
33?
And it can't get, even at 40 though, like how much lower can he get unless he like T5 Memorial? Like at 33, it's unbettable because it's not getting lower.
Yeah, you might as well just wait at that point.
Like how can it get lower than 33? Once the books remember who else is playing that week. Everybody.
They are. That's true. We still have our Hatton money. I was encouraged by Hatton this week.
Yeah,
right?
but I feel like by the time that goes off, the number won't be strong there.
No, it's not going to be great.
That'll be a bad number by the time it goes off.
Yeah, so Cantlay.
33, right?
35 is what I see him at right
Can't
now.
get lower.
Yeah, Scott's 40, Finau's 40, Louis 55. All these will change.
Yeah, of course.
But at the top, at the top, Brooks is plus 650 and DJ's plus 8.
That's hopefully can normalize a little with. I mean, DJ at Pebble.
Tiger's 14 at Pebble.
Read me a couple more.
Brooks 650, Dustin 8-1, Rory 12-1, Tiger 14, Rose 16, Spieth 18, JT 20, Rahm 22, Day 25,
Ricky 25.
Molinari 25, Ricky 25,
biggest
Xander 25, Fleetwood 30, Phil 30. Then it's your Bryson, Cantlay, Hideki guys.
I don't know, like
Bryson has the same odds to win the U.S. Open as he does this week.
What's wrong?
Colonial.
Well, that's something we're going to talk about soon. I don't know. Can't do anything with that stuff.
No, we'll figure it out once we get closer.
It's sooner than you think because there's this and then something and then Memorial's next week.
Yeah, we'll record early.
Sure.
For Memorial next week because I'm going on vacation. But I decided to stick around to record the show because I'm a man of the people like that.
And they had Charles Schwab Open odds out first thing in the morning. And when Tiger plays, they're up like
Is
by
Tiger
dawn.
playing for sure?
Oh, sorry. I don't know. I'm just assuming.
I'm assuming too, but I don't know.
Like I assume that we assume together this would be like the one non-major WGCs like for sure plays in. It's the Memorial.
I would think so, yes. But we'll see.
And he's still got to be fresh. He played 2 rounds and he didn't play for a month.
Well,
he's playing.
They made it. It was Faldo who was making a big thing about it on the broadcast, just being like, Tiger, you got to play at like. They pointed to like Brooks playing
the week before.
Just
play.
And it didn't even make the case like that he played the week before. It's just he had played since the Masters.
Take it on your jet. Just go play.
Yeah, like it just knocks off some of the rust. You don't
even
you
to
don't miss
like
those
not play to win unless you're like in contention. You just play to
keep up. Yeah.
Keep up, work on what you want to work on.
Just play in a competitive scenario. It's a bit different.
I get it.
When the pressure's cranked up, just even a little bit. And I don't know how much pressure Tiger ever feels, but, let him go out at Quail Hollow. That was a tough course. That would have been a good course to go play, especially because he had success there before.
Yeah, and that was a surprising withdrawal. I guess for the most part.
I was surprised JT was as hurt as he is that he couldn't play in a major.
Well, I think, when we recorded, we sort of felt like that Quail Hollow thing was like, no disrespect, that's pure just maintenance because I'm going to play the major.
But it was just weird that he finished 12th at the Masters after sustaining this injury, and we haven't seen him since, but it's somehow gotten worse. That's not good news. Maybe it's a very similar injury to what Brooks had last year, that he's going to be out for maybe we'll see him come back at the British Open or something.
The wrist injuries are... they're the scary ones. Sort of like, I don't know, sort of like a hitter. You worry like they're your season. Brooks were lucky. It was just half a season and he ended up coming back and winning 2 majors.
Yeah. All right, let's get
freaking real.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready. I was taken aback. Just like the Heritage. I want our Fossey fields.
Yeah, but a Fossey player won. CT Pan won at Heritage.
It's been tough in the sense, Pat, that I think we're almost like 7 straight weeks of either
A
like
favorite
10-1 or like extreme bomb. And
That's not our range.
I don't even, not me.
Yeah,
I like pepper 30 to 60. That's where 70, that's where we're peppering.
Our picks have been legit horrible for like 3 months now. Like bad.
Bad.
Like we're
Bad.
we're happy list got in each way, so we turned like the most minimal of profits.
Yeah.
for
And I
the week.
lose, and
Like,
I'm
I won like $20 when all was said and done, and I'll take it
Yeah.
because I just
Oh,
didn't want
yeah.
to lose again.
Well, I overexposed in the majors, so to get that back was really encouraging. And now it can. They're not like there's been anything before, but now like that list each way can at least like pay for 2 tournaments.
Yeah, and like I've just been hitting. Not only I have like
That's been
Valspar was the last like good one that I had because I had Kokrak and Im both come inside the top 5, but Kokrak comes second, DJ comes second. Like it's either been super close. DJ came second at the Masters when I was on him. Like it. I don't know. Feels like we're due for a breakthrough. Maybe not this week. Maybe next week at Memorial. Who knows?
This is so a blur.
So Charles Schwab, we're at Colonial. It's an invitational, so there's only 122 players in the field. Driving distance matters not this week. Gaining strokes off the tee will matter, but not even close to what it is for approach. We saw Rahm has never finished outside the top 5 in 2 starts here, so you can be a bomber and do well, but it brings all of the field into play. Like Zach Johnson's won twice. Steve Stricker has won here. Kisner got his breakthrough 2 years ago or 3 years ago now at this course. Spieth has won at this course.
Furyk.
I think Furyk way back. Boo Weekly has won, but I would just go
it's a
with
type.
It's a type, but it's usually really good ball strikers. Adam Scott's won here before as well. That you need to be like, okay at putting, but you don't need to be a great putter. You do need to be able to crush your irons, though. That is the big trait of all the past winners of this course. They're just dialed in, and it doesn't matter what you are off the tee. Like your Chez Reeves can get real hot, and if he has one of his great iron weeks, he can definitely be there by the end of the week.
I don't know where he finished.
I have no idea. He was there for like 2 rounds.
3, I think.
But like that course is just simply too long for him. Everyone besides Spieth, unless you're making every 15-foot putt, he would have been +8 too. So distance really did matter at Bethpage last week. So if we get into the favorites, actually let's talk about the course for a sec. Colonial, just over 7,200 yards. That's par 70, and even the par 5s aren't like eagleable. I think there was 10 eagles between the 2 par 5s last year. Like they're hard to get to into really, really tiny greens. That's why basically 150 and in, you need to be sharp with your iron play. And if we get to the favorites, Rahm is here, like I had mentioned. He is not finished outside of the top 5 in 2 starts. He and Rose are both 11-1. Spieth and Fowler are 14-1. Xander and Molinari are 16-1. Those are your 6 big favorites. I think of these 4, I think this course best sets up for Molinari.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not a long player. He was lights out with it. He lost 5 strokes putting at the PGA Championship. He was actually quite good with his irons.
I mean, I think from the moment we started our cut sweat, guys like him and Cantley obviously must have hit a few more putts, but because Molinari finished +8, so he
did, but he started off. It was either Saturday's round or it was Sunday's round where he was like bogey to start.
He just couldn't hit putts, but I just saw his proximity to pin was crushing it. I like him, and you could shop that because I've actually seen a 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Bodog?
No.
Your site?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, Paul's site.
I would be intrigued by that number.
Yeah.
At 20 for Molinari.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to play it at 16 or 14 or 16.
They're showing a 20. They also have Xander at 18, but I don't know. When you're down here, points matter. Fowler at same, so it's all the same with the.
So we're on the same page with this. We both like Molinari the best
of those guys. I think he's the course suit. It kind of suits. I don't know what like would be the course comps here.
Heritage, Valspar, those sort of things. Shorter courses where you do want to keep it in the fairway. Like Rahm, this is one of the courses where Rahm bomb and gouged, and he was like the only guy who was able to do that. And he's been able to do it at this course.
Yeah, guys can do it.
Years.
We saw DJ really go to Heritage and lead for 3 rounds. It
didn't turn out.
The best players, I mean, yes, Rose probably ranked higher, but yeah, guys good as Rahm can, if he's playing well. And it seems like when he makes the cut, he's in it.
Rahm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every turn, like if he makes the cut, he's almost a guaranteed top 10, and that's probably being generous. Feels like probably closer to top 5.
Yeah, I think he has the most top 5s on tour since he joined the tour over the past 2.5 years. And people forget that he's won like 7 times around the world. It's just he wins these weird events. Like he won Torrey.
Yeah, that was it. As like a big charger.
Yeah, like he won Torrey, and that was like, oh, here comes Rom, da 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 da.
Then an Irish Open.
He won the Irish. He won the team event. He
Career
won the Hero.
Builder.
He won Career Builder. He won overseas somewhere else as well. Like he's piling up wins. It's just not at focal events.
Yeah.
He just kind of contends, then goes away on them.
Yeah, or blows up.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't discount any of these guys. Like, they're clearly the class. But Molinari would be, if we play up this far, it would be Molinari.
Yeah, but I'm more looking
Next
past this, I feel.
All right, so the next range, the 20 to 40 got Finau at 25. Casey, who actually rates out number one in the statistical model from past 12, 24, and 50 rounds, is 28 to 1. Bryson's at 30. Louis at 33, who had a top 10 here last year. Kisner won this event 3 years ago. He is 35 to 1. Then you got Poulter, Sabatini at 40 to 1. I would laugh at the Sabatini number, but he's just playing great.
There seems
I'm
to
not betting him at 40 to 1. But
No, but it's no different. I mean, months ago you might have laughed like at the Kokrak numbers, but he's consistently in these not bigger events, been at that 40, 45. Seems to be a consistent people that are backing it. Yeah, the Slovakian Prince. 40 to 1. Not for me.
Bratislava's best, Rory Sabatini. Making a charge for the Euro Ryder
Maybe
Cup team.
I'm the fool, like the hamster getting shocked by the electronic fence, looking for that cheese on the other side.
You want Finau, don't you? And you
No,
want it bad.
Well, I always kind of think that, but I'm talking more about Bryson.
Yeah, I think
Because he's been burning and got burned last week, but I don't want to get.
If you play Bryson, you're playing the number because clearly the form isn't there right now. But to think that you could get Bryson 30 to 1 at Colonial when we just went through the U.S. Open odds and he's 33 to 1. Like, he won't be 33 to 1 by the time it comes around unless he wins. And he's going to defend his title at Memorial next week. It feels like it'll click when it clicks for him because we've seen him go through bad stretches. I just wish I was more encouraged by something that I saw at the PGA Championship besides him melting down and then complaining about the course.
But maybe just not being there will make him happy.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know. And that's.
But these are the sort of courses where, like, it's a very strategic course. It's just I haven't seen him string together like a good performance since he went over and won in the Middle East. Like it's been like 4 months.
And you kind of want the sign of life, and then you're happy to get on. But to get on with no sign of life and to think that we're gonna get 4 rounds is part of what I was referring to, like being that hamster. But I see that cheese.
I'm out of all these guys, I think it's him or Casey that I like the best.
Do you want to talk up Finau?
I looked at that number hard. Like 25 to 1's a good number for Finau because you just don't get it. I mean, it's probably more of a fair number. You can do whatever you like.
The shop in which is giving that better Molinari number has Bryson at 20.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That if you play Bryson, this is a number play because it's 30.
I know, right?
So I might just bite that. I did that with JT a few years ago at Bridgestone. Like they opened him at 30.
That was like 2 years ago. Yeah.
It's like, what is he doing at 30? So like just play the number and hope it works out and he won.
I think that was more like other elite players are just sort of passing him in popularity. I actually bet Tiger that week. That was the last week at one ever, I think, at that course. I think we finished with that course.
Yeah, Bridgestone's gone. It's now where the St. Jude is.
And he just got pumped back there. Like, I don't know if his form going into that was actually as bad as Bryson's is. Although going into, as a Bryson apologist or trying to convince myself at the moment, you got to like make things in your head.
I don't think you need to be a Bryson apologist. The guy has 4 wins in the past 8 months.
What I'm trying to say is to bet him in the moment, not to say he's good or going to win again. That's a ridiculous, obvious thing to say. My point being is clearly he's a guy that might have his places and might be happy or not happy, and that really affects how he plays. Coming into the PGA, we acknowledge that he had shown life striking it well, was just putting horribly.
And last week he just lost the ability to strike the ball.
He just stopped.
He was bad.
Yeah, and he sort of, I don't know, maybe he stopped hanging out with the Barstool guys.
He wants some press.
I don't know. But 30 to 1, man.
It's a good number. But with Finau, would you eat the 25? It seems like you want to. Because you bet him at 25 wherever anyway.
That's not true. That's not true. I just really like him. I'm not like beholden to him like other bets.
I
actually don't even, well, no.
He's played this course 3 times. 19th, 34th, 29th.
was going to say I can't remember the last time I bet him, but I bet him at Wells Fargo.
So you bet him 2
That
weeks
was
ago.
like 2 weeks ago.
You didn't pull the trigger on him for the PGA Championship at an elevated number?
I couldn't. We spoke of it. If he wins something that big, he'll win that without me, but not there.
So before Justin Rose won last year, the 4 champions prior to that had actually finished inside the top 10, or the top 15, sorry, the previous year. It was Spieth, Kirk. You hit Kirk when he won here. I remember that. That was the year that Poulter melted down and I had Poulter. Who were the other idiots that won? Kisner and someone else. But they all finished inside the top 15 the year previous at the course before breaking through. It was the first time Rose had ever played the course last year when he won.
Okay.
So if we go and look, I'll pull it up right now, at the guys that finished inside the top, the top 15 last year. It's a lot of names that like your Louis of the world, your Griots of the world.
That's a short number for Louis. That's a kick in the nuts.
Why? Louis is good.
33-1? Should have been like a 40, 45.
I mean, the guy has never won in the USA. What do you want him to make his odds at?
Isn't that my point?
Yeah, but people will still bet him at that number. He's still good.
But I want the...
So here's the leaderboard from last year. It was Rose, Brooks, Griot, Louis. Those were the top 5. Then it was
like Griot's got a star.
Sorry,
beside
Tway
him.
and Rahm were both 5th as well. Then it was Connors, Neiman, Crane, Tim Herron, Chris Kirk, Silverman, Harmon, Asswagon, Danny Lee, Ricky, Bill Haas, Ryan Armour.
How bad was Ricky last week?
He was good until the final round when he shot 7 over.
Because isn't that great stat when those last like couple times his irons have ranked worse than like X? He actually has gone on to win and then like T5.
I did not hear that stat, but okay. He gained across all 4 strokes game metrics last week.
The week before Phoenix, he was horrible at Torrey Pines.
He was awful at Torrey Pines.
And then he won. And then I want to say the week before the Masters.
No, it was the week before. It was at WGC Mexico. He lost both off the tee and on approach, then came second the next week at Honda.
Okay. And something the week before the Masters?
He was fine the week before the Masters.
Anyway, someone who's dives deep has that because I was loving...
That sounds like a Kenny Kim number, if I had to guess.
Ricky at 14-1. Yeah.
You're going to play Ricky at 14-1, right?
No, but I'd crush it so much harder than I'd crush Spieth.
Yeah. I feel like the move is to, after gaining 10 strokes putting, maybe this like turns the season around, who knows, getting his first top 20 since last year's British Open. But like playing a head-to-head against Spieth this week might be the move.
Oh, yeah. If they want to offer Ricky versus Spieth at like a pick'em because their odds are the same, we can get on that.
Okay.
We can get on
So
that.
anyone else from that range that it sounds like no one.
Does Kisner,
We're going 20 to 40 here.
Kisner do anything for you?
No, not really.
He sort of talked the talk and lived it last week by saying like the plane is loaded and he was gone for Friday.
And he's good at this course.
And that doesn't, I want to say that doesn't like change anything. Sometimes getting out of there the week before at the majors is not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, especially when it's a course that just straight up does not suit you. Like he should play well at Pebble, I would think.
That could actually be a really good thing for Rahm because of all those guys at the top, he actually got the F out of there.
Yeah. Okay.
20 to 40, no, because Sab's no touch and I'm not on that Pass the Coke Rack fan club. And
well, we're not even there yet.
Poulter 40 seems right. I feel like he's been at that number consistently, even in fields that have.
I've legit lost track of what that guy's up to. He didn't make the cut last week, did he? I had no interest in him last week.
I didn't see him around.
Yeah, he missed the cut.
I don't even recall seeing anything from Thursday and Friday.
Before that, yeah, he missed the cut pretty badly. He was 12th at the Masters, 10th at Heritage before that. He's contended here before. This is his sort of course.
Yeah. And again, like with a Kisner, with a Poulter, you could take last week and just throw it out.
I agree.
Like statistically, like you almost want it out of your metrics because it's they go there defeated, almost like a defeated mentality when they step on that course.
Yeah, just don't use Poulter in New York. The crowd really gets on him. Like for what they were doing to Brooks, they were doing to Poulter for like the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, so the Ryder Cup's gonna get stupid.
Yeah,
it's gonna get incredibly insane. Stupid. And as we've joked almost for like even before this, but we've had like we want the Phil versus Poulter captains thing for like years. We've been talking about it there.
It should be good. I could see a lot of people being ejected from the premises.
Oh, man.
Imagine if any of these people tried to pull this shit at Augusta.
Okay, so
They might get beheaded.
They're in Wisconsin in 2020. Then they go to Rome
Is it Rome? Yeah.
or Italy for sure.
Yeah, in 2022. That is back
And
here
then
in
it's back to
2024.
Bethpage, and I don't know if I think they're back to like Ireland or something for
Those are always the most. I find that those are the most fun Ryder Cups when it's in
like
Britain.
Celtic Manor.
Just when
Was
it's in Britain, because like those fans get fired. Like
the French were great.
The
The
French,
full bottle of wine, just freaking.
yeah, the French were good, but
Yeah.
like there's no French players
Okay, fair.
unless you count Michel Lorenzo Vera. He come to PGA Championship, you know. He needs to start smoking long cigarettes. There needs to be a French golfer that's not only good, but really leans into being French. And like slams America whenever he has a chance. You want a real democracy? You come to Francais, you know? It'd be perfect. I could use a good heel villain French player on the PGA Tour. I'm all for that.
like Raymond Rougeau or like
Jacques Rougeau.
Yeah.
The Rougeau brothers. And then they become the Mountie and they give you the Cataprade. But he was Quebecois. He was not Francais. I could use a good French-Canadian player. How great would that be?
Yeah, we've never.
That's who I would get behind. Because you have all these other random
Yeah.
Canadian players who, no matter how good or bad they are, if you tune into Canadian TV, they're basically Tiger Woods when they talk about them. Like, Mackenzie Hughes is the next number one player in the world, according to... Now it's Corey Connors. It was Graham Dillette. It was David Hearn. But if we had like a French-Canadian player, I don't feel like he'd get the pub.
No, I think you. I don't know. It's pretty amazing. Like
the
it's
only time French Canadians get credit on Canadian TV is during the Olympics when it's like skiing. That's it. Like even like French Canadian hockey players are like, yeah.
Yeah, but I would say the French Canadians probably win like 35% of
our
their
gold medals. Yeah, of course. That's why during Olympic time, let's go Quebecois. Other than that, it's like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah, they like always win moguls and
Yeah, I don't even know where you can go to do moguls and like train for it. I remember that like when I lived in Calgary, they had the bobsled track.
Yeah,
for, like
that's Olympic
1988.
Village.
Yeah, I think there's like 2 places you can like go bobsled if you want to, or go luge. How do people even get into this shit?
I
don't get it.
I don't.
Like, is there a luge track anywhere around here?
I've never heard of one.
I'm sure there is, but like, I don't know.
I'm a city kid.
All right, so 45. We'll do the middle range here. Kokrak leads it off. I'm thinking about betting Kokrak, to tell you the truth. 45-1. He was striking the ball immaculately last week, too. He finished inside the top 25 again.
He is doing, statistically, it seems like nothing has changed there for about 6-7 weeks.
Does it feel like he's due? Like he's just like, this is what happened to Kisner. Kisner had that great year. So many close calls. Then he comes to Colonial and breaks through.
I want to make.
And we saw it with Henley that year in Houston. We saw it with Chappell that year.
How
in
close
Houston.
have the calls been, though? The game has been good, but I feel like there was one tournament where it was like
where he was close. I feel like he's just been in it every single week. He was 23rd at the PGA. He was bad at the Wells Fargo. He was 69th, but still make the case. He made 21 cuts in a row. He was 16th at the Heritage, and he made that Sunday run. Remember? And then
So
he
that
gave it
was
all
the
back.
one then,
no,
I think.
he was second at Valspar.
Okay, so that was the one that he was really.
Yeah, he was in, but 9th at Honda, 10th at API. Like he's just been lingering around. He's been in it. He just needs to not have that bad 9-hole stretch, and he's there. And when I went and looked at like the advanced metrics of where people gain at this course, like it's a very easily scrambling course. The greens are tiny, but up and down game really doesn't mean anything here. Like it's almost like zero.
So can I be honest?
Sure.
What you just said makes me want to bet Griot.
Well, Griot's played well at this course. What's Griot?
50.
50? I have 2 other guys from down that I'm kind of
The
interested in.
scramble, like you're telling me when you say small greens and scrambling's irrelevant, kind of works. You mentioned.
I mean,
course,
you do need to get it up and down. It just seems to be easier here than most other places. I'm really thinking.
he had a really good day yesterday, didn't he? I think he
Kokrak?
went off early. Griot.
I mean, he made the cut for Paul, but Sergio could not. But I think I think he was 6 over after the round 1. He came 23rd. He had a really good week.
Yeah, Griot 50-1. I think I want to be a part of that.
I might be able to get into that too. If we're just gonna fade everyone at the top end, like I'm down to dial back some of how much money I'm putting into this event and take some of the longer shot dudes.
What about Hatton at 66?
I gave Hatton a good look. He was one of the guys. But Snedeker was the one I kind of landed on.
Snedeker's name does feel like it belongs perfectly with the past champions of this event.
Doesn't it?
Like it would fit right in
And
on the winner plaque.
it's funny, and when I went and looked at like his advanced numbers and like even putting splits, everyone always talks about how great Snedeker is putting on POA. It turns out like he's better on the other two surfaces. You just remember him putting really well on POA because he's won a few times on it. But he won the Wyndham last year on Bent. The irons were really good last week after round one. He was top 10 in the field after round one in terms of strokes gained approach. I mean, if he's going to be a guy that contends at Wyndham and a guy that contends at Valspar and Heritage, this seems like a perfect MO. I'd be willing to take a shot on the each way at 60-1, wouldn't you? Like if you had to go Griot or Snedeker, I think Snedeker's a better player for one. And two, you're getting 10 more points on that number. Not to say that you can't bet them both if you didn't want to, but I think I like Snedeker more.
Even more than McDowell also?
Yes, more than McDowell. Zach Johnson, and if we're going to kind of do the spiel on Kokrak and how well he's been playing, do you give any look to Damon at 60? He had a good PGA Championship too. Why?
Like to win?
To win, yeah. I mean, not just first round leader. He's one of the more accurate players on tour.
I would say people that like bet him a
irons.
lot have to be a bit frustrated. The not first round leader bet because this guy's been like a staple farther back, but the books are finally catching on to cutting his outright.
So 70, he came 71st last week. Did not have a good week. Did make the cut at the PGA Championship. Lost a stroke off the tee. Lost 2 strokes around the green. Lost 3 strokes putting. Plus 5.1 on approach. So the irons are there for Damon. And he's going to hit all these fairways. He's not going to put himself into trees when that's the one place you can really get into trouble here. I don't hate it. It might be more of a DraftKings play, like just to really kind of go all in on Damon, but I don't know. He seems to be rating out pretty well, and I do like where his form's at. It's hard to really argue against him. Other than that, though, I don't really see much. Maybe nah?
That was just nah answer.
Not so much answer for me.
This place Perez could take advantage of.
Perez was all putting last week, and then he stopped making all the putts. I think he was 14 over in the final 2 rounds of the PGA Championship. Nah, last week just couldn't drive the ball. He missed the cut, but he was positive around the green on approach and in putting. And this feels like one of those courses
I
where
could get behind Nah.
So Nah at 70?
And there's your Siwoo at that number.
Yeah, I'm playing Siwoo at 70 for sure. Of course. He had a real bad Friday. Palmer, Hoffman, Streelman, Knox. Jimmy Walker has started to get better. I don't know if it's all coming to a head with him, but he's learned how to drive the ball again, which is something he was not doing whatsoever. But he had a pretty good week. Again, he was T23 at the PGA Championship.
A month ago, you'd have licked your lips for Sungjae here at 90.
Do you just blindly play it?
And there's a lot of like, you can't help but think about the fatigue because does he ever not play? But
Yeah,
you have to just ignore that, right?
Well,
Maybe
he's been getting some breaks because he keeps missing cuts now. So he's only been playing 2 rounds instead of the 4.
I like that. It's a big number. Like feels like the hype is like gone, and the number feels fair and right. Just here's the thing, though. There have been some recent events where I'm expecting him to make those run of birdies that he does, and he didn't. Like specifically the Byron Nelson. A lot of red lately.
A lot of red, just especially off the tee, because he gained basically off the tee in every event he had played on the PGA Tour since he started. In the last 3, he's lost off the tee. He's been bad with his wedges too. Now maybe Byron Nelson and PGA, they're just too long for him, even Wells Fargo. But Heritage, he was bad. He really hasn't been good since Corrales or even Valero. And Valero, he was bad and made a run on Friday and then played well through the weekend. But now I think I'm going to be off of him here. Nah, Snedeker, Kokrak, Damon is where I'm looking. I might give him more look to Jimmy Walker. What about Charlie? We're in Texas. Didn't that used to be a thing? Every time we're in Texas, play Charlie Hoffman? Last time... Nothing on Charlie?
I don't know, man. Maybe he's back and you can bet him to be first round leader.
It's not a major though.
In this range, like this above range, Grillo, Snedeker, Reeve, nah.
I'm sort of interested in Charlie Hoffman here. 5 straight cuts. He's been getting worse, but, playing the PGA, playing the Heritage. He's been gaining with his irons. He's been gaining ball striking. He's putting well. Seems like a big number.
Yeah, it's been about a month where he's finally started to show like life. He's been kind of back to that player, but
Okay.
was the one Valero, right? That's where he
Yeah.
won.
He didn't win. He came like second. Connors won.
No, but he won that one. That's where he beat Reed a couple years
Yes.
ago.
Yeah. So long shots.
80 seems fair.
Anyone stand out to you from the 100 to 1 and on? Obviously, we jumped on Byung-Hun An at 100 immediately.
Hold on, did you say 100 to 1 and on?
Yeah, and on. With Ben on.
Yeah.
100 to 1 seems like a bad number. That's going to
Yeah.
drop to like 60. So bet it now.
I've seen it as 80 and 66, so they're just, I don't know.
Asleep at the wheel.
They don't care. They're like laughing. They're like baiting.
Yeah, they're like, give us your Byung-Hun An money. Enjoy that.
Yeah. Because I know, yeah.
Listen, if Luke List can gain 7.2 strokes putting in a week, I have confidence that anyone can now do it. And he lost in a playoff at Memorial last year, right? To Bryson? Wasn't Ben An?
I don't remember.
I feel like that's who it was.
I know he went off in the final group in Canada with Dustin.
So this is around when he got hot last year, and he's already like striking the ball well. So, I mean,
we were on Mullinix before, but this might not be the course. We're sort of like those wide open layouts that he was like crushing it at, whether it was that team event or Byron Nelson.
how did he do at Heritage? I'm going to go look that up if he played it. Just sometimes at these longer courses, you don't worry so much about that because you're not hitting driver on every single hole.
Seems like
He was 16th at Heritage.
I know you'll hate this, and I'm not making the move, but because he doesn't have good finishes, but Berger's popping up with good signs, little ones every now and then.
I agree. I'm not going to bet him, but
Is this not like a Brandon Grace, just tight and little?
yeah, I don't know what to make of Grace.
He's been awful, right? Like it's
he's been-
like it's all red.
Yeah, it's not been good. Except for approaches. Yeah,
If you're gonna bet on Brandon Grace, do yourself a favor. Don't load up the stats. Just bet him.
Like, Brendan Grace is good. I'll
He's
bet
good.
him.
He's won before. The track like suits what he does well. Although if the winning score gets like really out there,
He was like 20 last year.
was that like was anyone in second or that was just Rose like running train?
He was rose by 3.
Neiman, Burns.
Not really for me. The Gim Reaper, 150 to 1, had a 12th at Valero. Or not Valero, Byron Nelson. The local.
I feel like Poston was playing decently in the last little bit.
Yeah, like when you're down here, Vaughn Taylor has a really good course history here, and he's actually having a sneaky decent year. He's someone I would consider.
I know he bottomed.
to
I
1.
know he bottomed out somewhere recently, but Denny McCarthy 150 to 1.
I mean, that's just all putting. If he can sustain his ridiculous putting for 4 rounds, he'll be in contention. And you do tend to like him more at these shorter courses. That just seems like a first round leader play. The Gooch is back for the first time since he got hurt.
You should bet Chesson first round leader.
Well, it sounds like you should bet Chesson first round leader.
225er. What about Matt Every?
The guy's been fire.
Yeah, also
What's Every at?
110.
No, really? They've cut him down to
Yeah,
110?
I guess yours was a little higher, but
I don't actually hate that.
I don't hate it at all.
It feels like there's a distinct cutoff, though. Like you have a couple of these guys at like 100 to 1, and then after that, that's where the field drops off.
I feel like a couple weeks ago you were high on the Brian Stewart train.
Yeah, and
Don't let a major interrupt that where he's DOA before it begins, right?
Yeah, I was on him at Byron Nelson, which was a bit of a longer track. Maybe didn't suit him quite as much. He came 59th that week. The putting kind of let him know. What's Stewart at? That's actually a good call.
Not as high as you might want it, but
110.
110.
I'll put a little marker next to his name. I'll look into him a little bit more.
Does Danny Lee do anything, or his rounds are such an anomaly? It's so hard to figure out.
This is actually a tournament where Danny Lee has played really well.
Because I want to say I've bet him here before.
He has the second most strokes gained over the past 5 years at this course, trailing only Jordan Spieth. But he's coming off a major disappointment. He had a chance to really... The thing I feel the worst about List about is if he had made that putt on 18, he'd be in the Masters next year. That cost him a Masters invite.
He's going to get a win.
Well, then he'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Homa? I know it's hard to ask for those like guys to win and then win again.
Yeah, like last year he was 14th at this event.
I
He was
really
6th the year
do
before.
like
Danny Lee, that is.
I really do like how guys have played after the win. Like they haven't won, but like even Sun Kang had a great little T10 here.
Yeah.
This past week. I know he's not
Keith Mitchell.
He's not in the field, right?
Keith Mitchell has continued to play well. Per the numbers, if you really dig down over the past 24 rounds, if you're looking for like guys with deep odds who rate out really well, Matthew Fitzpatrick actually rates out pretty well. He's at 55-1. Other than that, it's like Russell Knox, Matt Jones, Corey Connors, KH Lee, the Gooch, back for the first time since the Players, Carlos Ortiz, and Boo Weekley, who's won here before, rate out incredibly well. And they're way down the list. Stewart's actually 24th in the stat power rankings over that time. What about Zach Johnson? Just to kind of
rather have Snedeker.
dummy back. You can have both of them if you want.
Yeah. But I'm actually thinking about Paul Casey.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the numbers just point to Paul Casey?
It just works so well. I think the number's fair.
Okay.
Like, who'd you rather bet, Casey or Bryson? It's a tough one, right?
It's probably Bryson. I know that Casey has won. He has 2 wins in the past 10 years, and they're both at the same course. At least Bryson wins at different places.
Yeah.
And he's won more. He has more wins, again, in the past 8 months than Casey does in the past 10 years. That's something to look at. I think if we're just talking about outright win equity, I think if you're playing a DraftKings lineup, that Casey's probably a much safer play. But, I don't know. Anyone else from the bottom of this list you like?
No. Kyun Hoon?
KH? KH is always in play.
160?
I'll probably end up taking a shot on 1 or 2 of these guys down the list, but it really, how I formulate my card, I'm not completely off. If I can get that 20 number on Molinari, I might hit that. Kind of like it. Quick picks. I don't know where we're at here for quick picks. I have, so for the Charles Schwab Challenge, the quick picks that I have so far, I'm going to be in on Byung-Hun An at 100-1 with the each way, and Snedeker at 60-1 with the each way. That's the only place where I'm at right now in terms of actual committed dollars and cents to this tournament.
I'll one up you because Sned's an An, but I'm in on Grill. I'll be in on Grillo
at 50.
At 50.
So the guys that I'm really considering, and it depends on what I do at the top. I'm either going to play Molinari or play Bryson. I just might play those 2 and just add those 2 to the list, and that'll be my card for the week. Or I might just start at Kokrak and move down. So like Kokrak, Zach Johnson. I might tail you with Griot, Charlie Hoffman. Just play a bunch of these guys that are like 50, 60, 70, 80-1. That way my investment's not too big. And I think those are the type of players that could win this week.
I've been betting Russell Knox a lot at these like courses.
The shorter accuracy courses.
And he has like moments of like sucking me in. Like his albatross. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't mind that. 90-1. But his brick putter needs to.
1 and done. You won last week with Dustin Johnson and his solo second. Big leap up. That's like a win, basically. Like when I got the DJ at the Masters, that was like a win. Now it'd be nice if he won and it was like 2 wins, but hey, what are you going to do? But you're up first, so you take him.
I was going to say Mully, but I'm almost certain I used him at the match play.
I can't remember if I used him or not because that's who I was going to take too.
So I'll back off that. I'm going to be a little unorthodox, I guess, especially for having the pick here. Give me Grillo. Emiliano. The mighty Duckman himself.
I'll take Molinari, but I don't know if I've used him or not, so I should probably do a backup pick. I've used Kokrak.
I've looked at the camera twice today. It's really tripping me out.
I'll take Snedeker as my backup pick. I'll have my cheat sheet out on my Facebook page on Wednesday.
So you took Molinari.
I took Molinari, but if it turns out that I have used him, because I didn't look at it, because I have the 2 teams. I've taken him on the other team for sure. I can't remember if I've taken him on the one that we have against each other. Snedeker will be my backup pick. I don't know who Tim is taking.
I He's used most of those top guys. He could take.
He can't take Brian Harmon because he used him 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. I feel like I could get in on like 2 of these guys and then just drop it back.
Maybe. We'll see what you do. You'll tweet out your picks, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mentioned, my cheat sheet will be up on Wednesday afternoon. Well, the
Just
DraftKings
fade.
show.
Just fade.
Just fade
my
all the
pick.
picks. Yeah,
just fade my outrights.
Yeah, that's what people should be doing. I think that's what people do with this
Or
show
just
now.
pick my outrights to be like Thursday leaders. And actually, that's someone pointed that out to me too.
That all your guys just do really well round one.
Yeah. Which is, I don't know. Whatever.
That's better than them doing poorly in round one, I would think.
Yeah, you get like one night of being excited.
Yeah. Maybe we can find ourselves a guy who comes from the back of the pack. Boo Weekly's 400 to 1.
I don't care.
I might have to throw down a top 20 on that or something. He actually played quite well at Heritage. And he's won here. He's one of the few people with the tartan slam. Get him into that jacket again. That'll do it. Pat Mayo Experience. Thank you all for watching the Charles Schwab Challenge. We'll be back on Tuesday with DraftKings, live chat with Reed Fowler on Wednesday, and then the rest of the week we'll have Memorial for you. Then I'm on vacation till the following week, but we're not going to miss any of the golf shows. Remember to play in the Pat Mayo Experience DraftKings Open. You can find the link in the description or comment section of this video or podcast. And if you want to get into a draw for 20 DK bucks, all you need to do is smash the like button, leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. Tell me which one of the favorites you think has the best chance of winning at Colonial. Rate, review, subscribe to the podcast. 5 stars, something nice. DraftKings handle, a very easy draw to win because so few people actually do it. So you might want to get on that one, all right? Pat Mayo, good luck at Colonial. Go win some cash. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!